morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. It is another day for And Just Like That. I'm Melissa, by the way. If you're new here, hello. Reminder, every single Thursday, and just like that, new episode drops. So that means my commentary will drop every single Thursday. And if you're not subscribed yet, and if you're watching every week, hit subscribe and hit the like button. If you guys have been following, I have had this goal to make it to 700 subs, and we have done it. I think by this time I'm around 740, give or take. And the next goal would be lovely to do 800, maybe by the end of the season. I don't know. Who knows? But if you guys are fans, share, tell your friends, your family, your grandma about this YouTube commentary series that I'm doing. I'll be doing it till the end of the season, and we'll see what show I do next. I do like to get into different types of genres, so stick around. It's fun. I want to talk to you guys more about different types of shows and movies. And yeah, so let's start the episode. Hey, just watched the episode called February 14th, and just like that, episode 7. It's been 7 weeks already that you and I have been here together watching this show. Okay, so let's start from the end. What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Carrie and Aiden, they are talking via email. They're kind of trying to set up a meeting, setting up some sort of date, non-date. It's not really sure. You're meeting up an old flame. And the date is set for February 14th, aka Valentine's Day. So she's feeling super cool and calm until a couple of days before is when she starts to feel nervous, and she gets to the place where they're supposed to have dinner, and then he's not showing up, so she's afraid that he has stood her up. And then her phone is almost dying. She needs to charge it. They're continuing to try to build up that anticipation because we're about to see Aiden for the first time in like 13 years. So then he finally shows up and they have dinner. They start talking. He tells her that he is sorry about John, aka Big, and that he wanted to write, but he never did because he doesn't know if he should have. Because, they got a complicated relationship from, the history there is it's a little dicey. So they go back to her place, and he doesn't realize that she lives in the same apartment that they used to share together at one point, because when they were together, he would stay over all the time, and the plan was that they were going to live together. So he did a little bit of remodeling. They were going to get married, but then they didn't get married because there was a big freak out, right? They were not on the same page. He wanted to get married. She did not. And so he moved out, and then they broke up, and then, that is their history. So they go back to her apartment, and he freaks out about it being the same old apartment. I just thought this came off a little odd to me. I always try to empathize and try to understand, and I get that at some point this was the love of his life, and that was a terrible breakup for him because, she was his future at some point. But eventually he did move on. He had a whole ass wife, he had children, and she also moved on. And I just felt like it was such a super emotional, heavy moment he was having. Like, he couldn't even go up the stoop to go into her apartment because why? Like, the memories would be too great and too painful. It's been like over a decade. Over a decade. I don't know. On the one hand, in some ways, she's the one that got away, and that was a missed opportunity for him not ever getting to live his life with her. So it is kind of emotional in that sense, but I don't know. It felt almost like they're trying to sell this a little bit too hard and too dramatic with him not even being able to step inside because I can't go back in there. I can't do it. Why do you live in the same place? Well, it's remodeled, it looks different, so you should be good. And then towards the end, which is a line that I don't quite understand, he says, it's New York, there's hotels. What does that mean? Are you gonna go to a hotel instead of her apartment to have sex? Now let's fast forward to the kiss. I believe last week I mentioned how I had hoped that the reunion, if they were going to go back into a relationship, wouldn't happen too fast. So of course they've disappointed me, and they've made it happen super fast as they are already making out at her stoop. and I'm guessing he's gonna go up her place. You know, his horniness will overweigh his um weird delayed heartbroken reaction. What I just hoped that it wouldn't move so fast. I prefer something that has more of a build up and a development. We're only at episode 7. I think this season is going to have 11 episodes, so I think they could have given it at least an episode or two before they go into anything intimate, because of their history, because of, you know, the relationship, and then the breakup, and then the relationship that happened again. And then, you know, in that terrible second movie, they had met up again, had some kind of dinner, and they had like a little kissing interaction. They have had a roller coaster past, and you would think that they would have learned a little bit more to not move too fast, because, you know, I think that can run up into some toxicity. I'm disappointed in how fast it's moving. I thought it was a odd, heavy reaction by the stoop, because, like, what are you? You're still a heartbroken guy. It's been over 10 years. Get over it. I feel like I sounded insensitive. I don't want to be insensitive, because Aiden is a good guy. I like him. I just thought that was a strange writing choice. And I don't know what we're gonna see next week. Are they gonna go into a full-blown relationship? Or is this going to be more like, well, I'm in town, we're old flames, let's bang it out, have a few dinners, let's have fun for the time being, and I'm gonna go fuck off in Virginia where I used to live. Is it gonna be that, or back into a relationship? It depends how it's written to see what I would prefer. I don't want them both to end up being alone for forever. But if you're going to tell me this story where you're going to go back with your ex that you have a pretty rocky history with, you got to sell it to me better. And I don't like how fast it's happening. Hallelujah. So episodes ago, I had expressed how I hope that Charlotte finds some sort of storyline, and that looked like that was going to happen when some art gallery dude was asking her about if she's interested in getting a job in the art gallery world again. And she had turned it down right away because she feels like, you know, her place is to be at home with her children, who are like teenagers now, who are a little bit more independent. So I always thought that was like, you know, go back to what you loved doing. Because I mean, this episode really made me feel the frustration with Charlotte's storylines. I feel like she's on a different show. She is not in Sex and the City. She's not even in a Sex and the City spinoff reboot show, because her storyline just feels like it belongs on some sort of other network, another sitcom. Because this episode, her kid is having a Valentine's party that she's throwing with her friends, and she wants her mom and her dad to be out of the house. So then Charlotte brings in some surprise brownies or cake. No, it was cake. And then she accidentally eats a brownie from the party, and it was a weed brownie. So then she accidentally gets high. She thinks she's having a stroke. She has to go to the hospital. That is for a different show. I was growing so frustrated because why is this happening? It felt like they just don't know what else to write for her. They don't know what to write for Charlotte York, the Sex and the City character that we know and love. So they just kept throwing these random things that are happening with her family, her children. And now this episode, I feel like I've been pretty nice in the past. I guess more patient, because I haven't really liked her storyline at all. And it took 7 episodes for her to get to the point where she realizes, oh, my life flashed before my eyes, and I wasn't liking what I was seeing. I need to go back to work. And I am happy with that. I want something to be happening for her finally that is apart from these hijinks that they keep putting her in with her children. It's because it's not Sex in the City. It's not Sex in the City. And I'm tired of it. I am hoping for the rest of the season we're going to go back into the Charlotte York we all grew up watching and loving, because I'm just about done. I want to see some more things happening with her and her husband. You know, we saw a little bit of that happening when the kids went away to summer camp and her husband were trying to get back into their intimacy. That was a funny episode because it felt like a little bit like old school Sex in the City. And now she has to navigate her work life now. Hopefully we're going to see her trying to navigate her family life and her work life, and just to get to see a bit more of the old Charlotte. I will be very annoyed if she ends up, just going back for one day and decides that she hates it and then quits. It's I That may put me off from the show, to be honest, but we'll see. So this episode did take place during Valentine's Day, and everybody is navigating it in different ways. Some people have like hot dates. Some people are choosing to have dinner alone, like Naya, who is a character I'm not sure they know what to do with. I mean, I think at first she was feeling really abandoned and isolated from her horrible husband that's overseas, and then she was out here trying to find like a one night stand so she can go back to like her sexy self, and now she is just Miranda's friend, and then she's also having a alone Valentine's dinner. I am hoping that they move along her storyline more, because I really liked what they were trying to set up there of a woman trying to get back to herself after really disappointing and hard heartbreak from her marriage that was not that great. But her storyline kind of feels like it's at a standstill, and I am hoping we get to see more for that character. And then also for Lisa and Herbert in this episode, they are worried that their son, well, Lisa, I should say, is having a conniption because she feels like her son's girlfriend is a little bit too handsy in front of people. She has a problem with boundaries, she feels like. So she sets up a booby trap on her bed while they go off and have their V-Day dinner. She has a booby trap on her bed so that when she comes back from dinner, she can tell they have sex on our bed. So she comes back and they did not, but she finds them in her closet, not in a sex position, but their son takes the girlfriend in the mom's closet to try on the mom's clothes and take photos, which is weird. I understand Lisa from that point of view. That is kind of weird, and that would kind of piss me off. Like, why are you trying on my clothes? That is crossing a boundary. But this storyline, again, I feel like I'm realizing that when storylines involve the children, I'm not a huge fan of. I didn't mind when Brady was going through his hard time with his breakup and he had called his mom, and because he was so heartbroken, and then Miranda had to fly back to New York to see how he was doing because he sounded really, really down and kind of suicidal. And I think I didn't mind that because that served a purpose. Like, that was the action that needed to happen to get Miranda back to New York, where Sex and the City takes place. It is a New York show, and also where her friends are. So that had a purpose, so I didn't mind that kid storyline. All the other ones on the show just feel like filler, and I'm tired of it. What else are Lisa and Herbert gonna do? I don't know. Finally, let's talk about Miranda. Miranda is a newly single woman who, in the beginning of the episode, her and her friends are talking, and they're talking about like dating again, and her friends assume that she's going to be seeking out some new ladies. But Miranda's like, well, what makes you assume that it's just going to be ladies? I fell for Shay just because, I fell for the person and they just happen to be non-binary. So this conversation with her friends leaves her confused because she's like, how do I know? Am I not gay? And she has a conversation with Naya, and Naya tells her to explore so that she can see what she likes. And I would say there's not a lot of exploring that happens. She just goes to this bookstore, and then she sees Amelia, who's a narrator that she loves because she narrates Jane Austen books. She sees her and she wants her. So she ends up striking a conversation with Amelia and asks her out. And I thought it was a cute meet cute, but things are, again, they're moving just a little bit fast. And I had hoped that Miranda would be doing a little bit of exploring to see, is she gay or is she bisexual? And I feel like since she had dated the opposite sex for so long, that it may just be like a bisexual thing, or it's just like a fluid thing. I really enjoyed the conversation in the beginning of that opening scene, because I thought that would have been really interesting to explore the fact that, like, it's not that you're gay or straight. It's just like in the moment, it's who you fall for. But they decided to go the other way and just like, I guess, fully have her believe that she's lesbian. I don't know. I was into the fluidity of it all. But this is also interesting because it's telling the story of coming out later in life, which is interesting to me because I think typically we don't see that very often. I think a lot of coming out stories usually are from the perspective of a younger person. So it is interesting still to see it when she's in her 50s. And I think this dating scene that she has with Amelia was great. It took it back to old school Sex in the City again, because it ends up being a pretty awful date. They were supposed to go out to like a sexy dinner. She's wearing this great dress, some hot heels. She's ready for this dinner. You know, she's excited about meeting this new person that she's very attracted to. And, you know, maybe she'll get lucky. But then that's canceled because the dinner is moved to Amelia's house, which she thinks, okay, that's refreshing. It's still gonna happen. We're still gonna have dinner. It's gonna be even better because it's at your place. We're just gonna have dinner and then bang it out. So then she goes there, and it is a small studio apartment, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is that Amelia, first of all, is dressed in her loungewear because she's still working. She's narrating at her home. The place is small, but it's also a mess. It's a mess. She's got laundry everywhere, papers, the litter box is still full. She's just, Amelia did not consider or value Miranda's sweet time. And she starts, the thing is, like, Amelia also acts like nothing is wrong with this. There's no like apologies about not being ready, not having the place fixed up. Which is very worrisome. She just acts like this is completely fine and normal. And to me, this would be like a huge turnoff because, you know, the person is not really being considerate and being valuable of the time that you guys set up together. So thinking this is the last time we'll see Amelia, but I appreciated this storyline because, again, it felt like those horrible dating stories that you would see from the old Sex in the City when the girls were out trying to navigate the ghetto that is the dating life. So I thought it was funny and it brought it back. I'm hoping we see Miranda explore more. I don't want to see her just fall back into a new relationship, but I hope they continue her on her journey of exploring who she is and what she likes. And I want to see some more dating stories because, like, that is like the bread and butter of Sex in the City. Overall, I will give this episode a 3.5 because I was annoyed with the majority of Charlotte's storyline. I'm also annoyed at the fast-paced nature of Aiden and Carrie, and I was not really gelling with his like visceral reaction of just going up to Carrie's apartment. I don't get it. Maybe that makes me insensitive, but it's been like 13 years. But it's going to be a 3.5 flowers out of 5 flowers. I'm hoping, I think last week it was also a low rated. I could be lower, but because they mesh things together that I still like, I still find some gems that I like in there, but it just wasn't a slam dunk for me, and that's just what it is. Let me know your rating down below. What are your thoughts on the different storylines? Let me know what you feel about Charlotte, Miranda, Carrie, and all the other characters on the show. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to hit subscribe and hit that thumbs up. The thumbs up is really important because it helps to elevate the visibility of this video. And honestly, it helps to motivate creators to keep on creating because we never know who is watching. It's just us and our camera, and we're by ourselves, sometimes with our dog. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.